Larry Fitzgerald has more tackles than drop passes in his career. Let that sink in for a second. The future Hall of Famer has put together a crazy NFL career. But how did we get here? This is the backstory of Larry Fitzgerald. I'd like to thank Scott Fisher for joining me on this video. If you have not checked out his channel yet, I have linked it in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and let me know who you want to see in future episodes. Larry Darnell Fitzgerald Jr. was born on August 31st, 1983, and grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Fitzgerald's father was a sports journalist who had a radio show in Minnesota with Vikings head coach Dennis Green. As a kid, Larry served as the ball boy for the Vikings, where he got a front row seat to study superstar wide receiver Chris Carter and Randy Moss. Fitzgerald Sr. told Cronkite News, "Being around people like that, who are pros when you're a high school kid, they get excited about you because they can see your potential. And then on the flip side, they got to see what he had a chance to do because he was their ball boy. He would catch balls with them and stuff like that." Larry Fitzgerald attended Academy of Holy Angels in Richfield, Minnesota. It was hard to ignore the talent and raw skill Fitzgerald had. He was big, crazy athletic, and could run well for his size. From a young age, Fitzgerald believed his son was going to be a future NFL football player. While in high school, Fitzgerald Jr. was a two-time first-team All-State wide receiver and had colleges from all over the country scouting him. As a senior, Fitzgerald caught 73 passes for 1,254 yards and 17 touchdowns. Although they never won a state championship, Fitzgerald told ESPN in 2008 that his team did a lot of great things and that they were tight. He also mentioned that at the time, he was still in touch with all his high school football coaches. The issue was, Fitzgerald did not meet the NCAA requirement to play football as a freshman, so he instead played a postgraduate year at Valley Forge Military Academy in January of 2001 to improve his grades according to the Post-Gazette. He would then officially graduate high school in May 2002. According to 24/7 Sports, Larry Fitzgerald was a 4-star recruit who was the 3rd best player in Minnesota, 14th best wide receiver, and 93rd best player nationally. Coming out of high school, he measured to be 6'3" and weighed 205 pounds. Originally, Fitzgerald committed to Pittsburgh, but due to the aforementioned academic issues, Pittsburgh needed to re-recruit him all over again after his post-grad year. This time around, more schools showed interest in the Minnesota football product. Fitzgerald would take visits to Ohio State and Michigan State. Ultimately, it came down to Michigan State and Pitt. At the time, Fitzgerald's girlfriend attended Michigan State along with his best friend Alan Anderson, who was on the basketball team. Fitzgerald once again chose the Panthers and told the Post-Gazette, "I took some other visits because I just wanted to be sure Pitt was the best opportunity for me. A lot was thrown at me the past week. It gave me an opportunity to look over things and review what is best for me. When I weighed the pros and the cons, Pittsburgh was still the best place for me." Fitzgerald had developed a close relationship with star quarterback recruit Tyler Palko and head coach Walt Harris. The second recruitment is actually not the craziest story that came from Fitzgerald's recruitment. That has to be the what would have been football-altering decision to attend Penn State. As a linebacker. Fitzgerald had also played linebacker up until his senior year of high school. He told SB Nation back in 2012 that he had received about 25 to 30 Division I offers, and about 70% of them were schools looking to have him play defense. Fitzgerald considered the offer, but ultimately turned down Joe Paterno in Penn State. Think about how crazy and different things would have been had Fitzgerald gone down the defensive route. To talk about Larry Fitzgerald in college, I would like to welcome my friend Scott Fisher. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, go check out his channel after this video.
Although Larry Fitzgerald only spent 2 full seasons in college, that did not stop him from dominating and leading as one of Pitt's most accomplished players in school history. In 2002, Fitzgerald recorded 69 catches for 1,005 yards and 12 touchdowns, which led the Big East Conference. He recorded his first career 100-yard game against Texas A&M, recording 10 receptions for 103 yards. He got his first career touchdown against Toledo when he had 6 catches for 121 yards and 2 scores. His best game of the season came against West Virginia in the regular season finale, as he caught 11 passes for 159 yards and 2 scores as well. Pitt would go on to beat Oregon State in the Insight Bowl 38-13, and Fitzgerald led the team in receiving, recording 5 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. Fitzgerald exploded in 2003 and put up historical stats, even though teams were doubling and tripling him. He put on a show in the season opener, having 6 catches for 123 yards and 3 touchdowns. A few weeks later against Toledo, he caught 12 passes for 201 yards and a score, and his best game of the season would come against Rutgers, where he recorded 8 catches for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fitzgerald scored at least 1 touchdown in 12 of Pitt's 13 games and had over 100 receiving yards in 10 of those games, which is just phenomenal. Fitzgerald was putting up video game-like stats in real life. Rod Rutherford, Pittsburgh's quarterback at the time, talked about how Fitzgerald was not arrogant in college, but he was just extremely confident. He told Cronkite News, quote, "It was, I'm better than you, but not in your typeface kind of thing." Fitzgerald finished the season with 92 catches for 1,672 yards and 22 touchdowns. He became the first player in school history to record back-to-back 1,000-yard receivings in a season, and he won the 2003 Walter Camp Award and Biletnikoff Award, and would finish second behind Oklahoma quarterback Jason White in the Heisman voting. On February 9, 2004, Larry Fitzgerald announced he was entering the 2004 NFL Draft, saying, quote, "The University of Pittsburgh has been a special place to me, and I will forever be indebted to the many people who helped me as both a person and as a player. It has been an honor and a privilege to be a Panther. I will always work to represent the school as best I can in whatever I do in life." While Fitzgerald was at Pittsburgh, he rewrote the record book and set an NCAA record of 18 consecutive games with a receiving touchdown. Now let's throw it back to Jonathan to finish this video up.
Thanks again, Scott, for joining me. Fitzgerald's draft story is a pretty crazy one. Remember how I mentioned Dennis Green earlier in the video, who was the Vikings head coach at the time? Well, he was now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals and told the Fitzgerald family that if he was still on the board at the 3rd overall pick, they were going to draft him. At the time, no one knew if Fitzgerald was going to drop to the Cardinals. The Oakland Raiders had expressed interest in the Pitt product, and many expected them to grab him. Eli Manning would be taken 1st overall, and then the Raiders were on the clock. Their pick was in, and they drafted Robert Gallery, an offensive tackle out of Iowa. Fitzgerald fell in the lap of the Cardinals, and well, the rest is history. After Green passed away in 2016, Fitzgerald honored him with a message thanking him for giving him his only 2 jobs in his life: Vikings ball boy and Cardinals wide receiver. In 2016, Fitzgerald finished his undergraduate degree at the University of Phoenix, fulfilling a promise he made to his late mother. He was also a part of the Super Bowl run the Cardinals went on in 2009. In 2013, Pitt retired Fitzgerald's number 1. Fitzgerald has played in 263 games and has started 261 of those games, where he has recorded 1,432 total receptions, 17,492 yards, and 121 touchdowns. His contract expires in March, and it is unknown whether he will be returning for the 2021 season. There's no timetable on the decision, and the only way he will return is if he is in an Arizona Cardinals uniform, according to the Cardinals. Whether he decides to return or retire, he has a golden jacket waiting for him in Canton and will go down as one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos in the Who Is series. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.